straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, Pakistan fans have found another villain. And if you know Pakistan cricket fans well, then you can guess that this one is a Pakistani cricketer. Their new captain, Mohammad Rizwan, was slammed by the cricket fans and former cricketers for his knock in the T20 International against South Africa yesterday. Everyone's asking for him to be permanently dropped. Despite several protests and strong murmurs of dissent and disgruntlement, FIFA has gone ahead and announced Saudi Arabia as the host of the 2034 Men's Football World Cup. How did they bag it? And the rise of the Saudi country in the sport, and what will the repercussions of this be? All of that in an explainer heading your way. And is China and America mending its ties? NBA returns to the country after a 6-year-long ouster. Why and how have they made this comeback? And is there more than meets the eye to this story? But first, let's look at the headlines at Sports 360. Starting with cricket, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma saw a massive dip in the latest ICC Test rankings. Virat Kohli dropped down 6 places and is now ranked 20th. Indian captain Rohit Sharma, on the other hand, moved out of the top 30. The duo had a poor outing in the second Test against Australia at the Border Gavaskar series. Over in women's cricket, Australia beat India by 83 runs in the final ODI to complete a 3-0 whitewash. Put into bat first, Annabelle Sutherland's 110 took Australia's score to 298. In response, Ashley Gardner's 5 wickets helped bowl India out for just 215. On to football and the Champions League. Manchester City lost to Juventus 2-0 in the tournament. Dusan Vlahovic opened the scoring. Weston McKennie scored the winner in the 75th minute. In another match, Barcelona beat Borussia Dortmund 3-2. Rafinha scored the opening goal for Barcelona. Despite Dortmund striking twice, Ferran Torres' brace made it 5 wins in 6 matches for Barcelona this season at the tournament. Footballer Kylian Mbappe finally gets some relief. The investigation into the rape and sexual assault case has been closed. Swedish prosecutor claims there is insufficient evidence. Furthermore, the French forward was not interrogated by the police. And summing it up with American football, Ohio State Representative Josh Williams has introduced a bill to make flag planting at football games in Ohio Stadium a felony. The decision comes after the Ohio State-Michigan brawl last month. During the game, Michigan players planted the flag in the middle of the field, causing an all-out brawl. Pakistan cricket and its many battles. It's a saga that can keep us all hooked and interested for days and months on end. All we need is popcorn, and we are set to get an entertainer that will be a non-stop affair. The latest is revolving around the uncertainty over their captain and coach. Pakistan is involved in a series against South Africa. They suffered a loss in the first T20 by a margin of 11 runs. Now, the question isn't the loss as much as the manner in which they succumbed to defeat. They had to chase down a target of 184, a par T20 score. Mohammad Rizwan was the top scorer, 74 runs off 62 deliveries. Now, you say that individual score and think great job, captain leading from the front. But that's not how it all panned out. Rizwan opened the innings for Pakistan and started off very cautiously, a little too carefully given this is T20 cricket. He ate up too many dot balls right from the start. That's what his scores were at the end of the 5th, the 10th and 15th overs. That's what it looked like. He was not even a runner ball. His scoring rate went past the number of deliveries faced only at the 17th over mark. And by then it was just too little, too late. The equation was getting hard at that point, and he was running out of solid partners who really could take on the attack. Babar Azam faltering was no help either. Not too much experience later on in that lineup as well. Now, I'm a fan of taking the match deep. One man mastered this, and there's a reason because there was method to that as well. Former India captain and of course one of the best finishers Indian cricket has produced during his heydays, MS Dhoni knew how to finish games. There was a certain math to it. Yes, you can take matches deep and play slow, but you have to make sure you're still keeping the scoring rate and that scoreboard ticking. Your strike rate has to come into play as well. Staying quiet for 3/4 of the innings and then going hammer and tongs towards the end was not going to help. T20 cricket has evolved. It's far more fast-paced now than ever before. T20 roles for especially different batters are all changing. The role of a T20 opener, for example. You see all IPL teams, the clamour and fight to have an explosive opening batter. And you realize that this was too slow a knock. And that's what angered Pakistan fans all over the internet. And it was not just fans, former Pakistan cricketers too, who are one of the first to jump on the bandwagon of hate and criticism, were also not too far behind.
How he went to chase about this target was bizarre from the beginning. Too many dot balls and lack of intent in the chase cost us what could have been a victory for Pakistan. Seniors should be leading from the front, not hiding behind youngsters.
All this has also raised a big question mark around Mohammad Rizwan's stint, his role as captain of the team, especially the shorter formats. There is growing unrest regarding this matter, considering the kind of drama that had anyway preceded Rizwan's appointment in the first place. Captaincy has been a bit of a musical chairs affairs as far as Pakistan cricket is concerned. One day, Babar Azam was skipper and was hailed for his capabilities as captain of the ship. Then he was put aside and Shaheen Shah Afridi was brought in. That did not work and they reverted to Azam. And then, of course, now Rizwan. That clearly is also under threat. And then there is the matter of the coach. If it was not enough that Gary Kirsten quit within months of coming on board, Jason Gillespie, the Aussie quick, who was also roped in around the same time alongside Gary Kirsten, has revealed that he doesn't know how long he will be able to continue in this role. It has not been a smooth ride for Gillespie despite Pakistan winning the recent Test series against England. He said he was not being made part of the decision-making process throughout. He was kept away from team selections, and now this. How can a team be expected to function smoothly and successfully if the head itself is unclear? It has to come from the top down. That's when a system can truly work to its optimum. With the Champions Trophy mess also continuing to not get resolved, there seems to be too many fires that Pakistan cricket is busy trying to put out. The controversial hosts for the 2034 Men's Football World Cup has been announced. Despite all the backlash due to human rights and women's rights issues, Saudi Arabia have officially been announced as the host for the 2034 edition. Only the latest move by Saudi to mark their territory in the football world.
The host of the FIFA World Cup 2034 will be Saudi Arabia. Mabruk. Mabruk to our friends in Riyadh. Mabruk to everyone.
Now, it was no secret that the 2034 World Cup would go to the Gulf nation, given they were the sole bidders for the mega event that year. But once the official word came out, the whole nation erupted in joy. Some fans also claiming they never expected Saudi Arabia to be the host.
only 5 years old and never expected, even 1%, that the World Cup would be held in Saudi Arabia. The hosting is truly impressive and will greatly change life in Saudi Arabia.
For the first time, 48 teams will be part of this global football event and Saudi Arabia will host it. It's exceptional and beautiful. We wish for success, God willing.
Well, the pictures say it all. It's quite a historic moment, not just for their governing body, but also for fans who will get to witness the biggest stars in that sport at their home. But amid this happiness, though, there lies, of course, a dark truth, answer to questions that the whole world has been asking FIFA in particular. How did a nation like Saudi Arabia manage to get the rights to host football's premier tournament? Because Saudi is no Argentina, Spain, England or Brazil, where football is mainstream sport, where they've earned that right to be hosts because of all the performances that they put in. Not even a challenger like Morocco, Japan or Mexico, where the passion rules. The country didn't take football seriously up until 1974. Even post that, their very first World Cup qualification came only in 1994. They've in fact made it to the World Cup on 6 occasions overall, yes, but their performance only has peaked and been consistent over the last 6 years since 2018. And the groundwork Saudi has done in the past 6 years hasn't just made them regulars at the World Cup, but has also forced FIFA to pick them as hosts. Because Saudi isn't just looking to strengthen their hold on football, they are looking to buy the sport, just like their sporting ventures. The project takeover started by roping in one of football's biggest stars and faces last year, Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, once you get the big fish in your pro league, it was going to be just about time for other prominent international stars also to follow and come over. The league now has players like Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, Sadio Mane, Neymar, to name a few. And going by how Saudi is trying to attract players and even eyeing athletes like Mohammad Salah, Kylian Mbappe, even Vinicius Jr., it's only a matter of time before the currents become stronger. The Gulf nation didn't just make their own league popular, they have strategically planned on getting a hold on the football world. And Saudi did that by offering what they have the most. The Saudi-owned oil company has been signed up as a sponsor till 2027. The deal is worth a whopping $100 million a year. The Saudi Public Investment Fund, or the PIF, sponsors leagues in Africa and Asia. And the biggest of it all, out of the 200 voters who approved Saudi as the host for 2034 World Cup, nearly 50 of them have some sort of a working agreement with Saudi Arabia. This is how Saudi is using its money to arm twist not just FIFA, the governing body of the sport, but also other associations, other countries, silencing any objections that might come their way. And the deals were expected to only grow after the 2034 World Cup rights would be confirmed, which it now has. Which was the reason why international voices asked all the football associations not to revolt against Saudi's hosting rights unless they wanted no part in the tournament itself. FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, too, has been tight-lipped about the developments surrounding Saudi's hosting rights. Ever since Saudi bid for the 2034 edition of the tournament, Infantino hasn't hosted press conferences. He clearly doesn't want to answer the uncomfortable questions that will most likely come his way. So are FIFA's hands in the matter also too tied? It sure feels like, seeing the kind of money Saudi has invested in the sport overall, somehow feels like FIFA is more than just obliged to give Saudi the hosting rights. And Saudi seems to have an answer to every criticism that is coming their way. Human rights issues have been plaguing the country for years, but they shut it out by injecting more money. If the migrant workers' rights comes into question, they show their future plans of curating and developing the best of facilities.
Everyone, I invite everyone to come to Saudi Arabia. They will see something that they have never seen before, and they will experience something that they have never experienced anywhere else. Well, I think controversy will happen in anything you do. We can assure everyone that we're going to work with all the FIFA member association, with FIFA itself closely, to make sure that the Saudi Football Federation delivers on their expectations.
Now, reports say one of the stadiums which will host the World Cup is planned to be 350 meters above ground in a futuristic city that does not yet exist. Another stadium is designed to be atop a 200-meter cliff near Riyadh. They are shutting the opposition by boasting of a state-of-the-art facility setup that will be on full display come the World Cup. And who doesn't want a football World Cup to be talked up in such grandeur? They may be using sports as a mean to wash their image on the international front, but they are doing it rather boldly and smartly, from not qualifying for a World Cup consistently till less than a decade ago, to now getting rights to host what promises to be a futuristic football World Cup. Saudi's takeover is already well underway. It seems like the World Cup is just a minor level up in the grand plan. China and United States of America are trying to mend ties. Mending ties on political grounds may take a while, but maybe not on the basketball court. NBA is set to return to China after a 6-year hiatus. NBA signed a multi-million-dollar agreement to organize pre-season games in Macau from next year. The relations between China and NBA had turned cold when a general manager supported anti-government protests in Hong Kong in 2019. So how come this new deal at this point? What has caused the Cold War to come to an end? And how desperate was China to get NBA back? Or is it part of a political ploy to get into Donald Trump's good books? Here's a report.
China and the United States of America. The two nuclear power giants and superpowers on the global front don't see eye to eye on almost every subject. China's enemy is most likely to be America's friend, and America's ally is likely to be China's fiercest competitor. And with Donald Trump's comeback in the White House, how relations between the two nations would shape up is highly unpredictable. And while the list of dividing factors may be endless, there is one ground, or should we say one court, where the two parties seem to have reunited. It's one of America's most popular sports, basketball, and the cash-rich league NBA. 2025 will see the return of NBA to China after a 6-year-long break. In a multi-million-dollar agreement, the Brooklyn Nets and Phoenix Suns will face off for 2 preseason games in Macau next year. The NBA making a comeback for the first time since 2019. The games were paused after then Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey supported pro-democracy and anti-China protests in Hong Kong. And while Morey deleted the tweet later, it was enough for China to take offense and end the partnership. A partnership where 17 NBA teams played 28 preseason contests from 2004 to 2019. The rift was such that China even banned the broadcast of NBA matches in the country up until 2022. So, has the ice melted? What really is the reason behind China reigniting its relationship with the NBA and, by that extension, America? The most blatant and apparent reason, the country cannot ignore the fact that NBA is the most popular league in China. The NBA claims that over 300 million people play basketball in China, and their owners have collectively invested over $10 billion in the country. The NBA China market has also grown into a $5 billion strong business. And it isn't just numbers that show NBA's popularity in the country. The biggest name that made basketball popular in the country was Kobe Bryant. Every time Bryant visited China, stadiums would be jam-packed. Matches were all sold out, and the airport teeming with people who just wanted to catch a glimpse of the star player. Bryant even calling China his home away from home, a legacy that's been taken forward by LeBron James. All of this is only helping China. But hold on, the love affair isn't one-sided. Just like how China needs the NBA needs China too. Because of the preseason ban and the NBA not being broadcast in the country for a few years, The NBA chief admitted that the league ended up suffering heavy losses after China pulled the plug. But are financial gains the only reason behind China softening their stance with the NBA? Donald Trump's arrival in the White House has made the China-USA relationship rather unpredictable. But with Trump reportedly inviting Chinese President Xi Jinping to attend his inauguration, the ties between the two countries politically are expected to be a bit better than what we witnessed during Donald Trump's first term. So maybe the inclusion of one of America's most popular sports is China's way of extending their hand of friendship towards Trump. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol is using golf to improve his ties with the United States and Trump. So maybe Xi Jinping is using the NBA to do the same.
Time for last serve. It's a world record-breaking week in swimming, clearly. A day after USA's Gretchen Walsh set a new record in the 50-meter butterfly event at the Short Course World Championships, Swiss swimmer Noé Ponti has done it in the men's event. Take a look. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.